dear friends, have you ever tried to get rid of your watch for a whole day? Or maybe for a whole weekend? Have you ever tried to get rid of the clock, to get rid of your need to know the time? I'm sure most of us would say no. Most of us would say that that would be foolish, because we're so dependent on time. We would say, well, you couldn't be a responsible person if you didn't stay in touch with the time of the day, because our jobs depend on it. We have deadlines to meet. And so our lives are so controlled by time. We're prisoners of time. Sometimes we have too much time in our hands, and we don't know what to do with ourselves. Children get bored. They have too much time, and they have nothing to do. And then we have too little time. We complain that we don't have enough time. And so our whole lives are affected by time. And it can cause a lot of stress. People worry about not getting there on time. So we're so locked into time. I remember almost 30 years ago, I made a retreat at the seminary in Los Angeles. It was called the Cursillo Weekend. And the word Cursillo is a Spanish word, which means a little course in Christianity. And there were about 40 of us men. It was a weekend for men. And we started on Thursday evening, and we finished on Sunday afternoon. And some of the men were priests, but most of the men were married men. They left their wives at home. But when we arrived on Thursday evening, the first thing that happened was we were asked to let go of our watches. We had to surrender our watches. We were told that we wouldn't use them for the weekend. And there were no clocks on the wall. So we never knew the time. And then we were not given a schedule. Usually we like to know what we're going to be doing for the weekend. What's going to follow what? But we got no schedule, and this was deliberate. We never knew what was next. We had to put our total trust in the leaders of the retreat. And the leaders were 2 priests and some lay people. But it was a very powerful weekend. And it really was an amazing experience to live without time, without having to know the time. It was, in a sense, it was an experience of timelessness. In the Gospel of today's Mass, we read about an extraordinary event in the life of Jesus. He's on the mountainside with 3 of his apostles. And something extraordinary happens. cloud appears over them, and the voice of God the Father was heard speaking to Jesus. And then the voices of Moses and Elijah. And the apostles were witnessing this. And they were overcome with awe. We're told that they fell asleep. But I think what happened was they were overwhelmed by the experience. It was awesome. But they were very excited about the experience. They knew it was extraordinary. And they said to Jesus, they said, let us build 3 tents here. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. They wanted to capture the moment. They knew it was an extraordinary experience, and they didn't want to let it go. And so they wanted to build 3 tents or 3 monuments on the spot. But Jesus wouldn't let them do it. He said, no, let's go down the mountain. We have other things to do. But they wanted to capture the moment. And isn't that what you try to do and I try to do? We like to capture moments in time. Those special moments, we want to hold on to them. And that's why we have cameras. That's why we have videos. We have our photographs. We have our photo albums. Because we're trying to capture moments in time. And the videos, of course, are more recent. So you can look at a video and you can see how you were on that day, how you moved, how you talked. Our need to hold on to the past. But you see, we don't succeed. It's impossible to capture a moment in time. The moment slips away. All we capture is the scene. We can look at the photograph and we can see how we looked at that time. We can see what we wore, what dress we wore, what clothes we wore. But we don't capture the moment. We capture the scene, the setting. It's impossible to capture the moment. The moment gets away. And you see, that's why we're often sad. Because time is passing away. We try to hold on to time. We try to hold on to moments in time. But it can't be done. Time is slipping away. And we can't do anything about it. We have our watches. We have our clocks. But time keeps slipping away. And when we're young, we don't even think about it. Because we feel we have so much time to live. But then as we get older, we begin to notice it more. Because we realize we have less time left. But you see, on the mountainside, Peter, James, and John, and Jesus, they touched into a moment of timelessness. When Jesus was transfigured before their eyes, and when his clothes became dazzlingly white, that was a moment of timelessness. They touched into eternity. And the apostles wanted to hold on to it. And you see, that's the spiritual journey. It's about touching into timelessness. It's about touching into eternity. And it can be done. while we're still living. You see, time passes away, and we're often sad because it does. But you see, eternity never passes away. Eternity is always now. It's never gone. And that's why Jesus invites us to get involved with the things that are eternal. Get involved with what doesn't pass away. Put your energy into what doesn't pass away, and then you won't be sad. But if we put all our energy into the things that are passing away, we're going to be sad. You see, every weekend, you come here to Mass. And when you come to Mass, you're touching into timeless. Because the Mass is timeless. When you come to Mass, you're touching into eternity. You see, the Mass, there's only one Mass. You might say that through your life, you've gone to many Masses. Well, the truth is, you have not gone to many Masses, because there are not many Masses. There is only one Mass. You can say you've gone to Mass many times, but it's the one Mass. The Mass that they're attending now in another part of the world is the same Mass that we're attending. You see, the Mass is timeless. It's out of time. When we come to Mass, we're not trying to remember what was. We're touching into what is. At the altar, Jesus is breaking the bread. And he has us sitting around, and he's speaking to us. It's not the priest at the altar. The priest stands there as a representative. It's Jesus and the priest who sing the Mass. The Mass is eternal. It's timeless. It has no beginning, it has no end. Now, sure enough, you might say, well, the Mass started and the Mass ended. All that means is that your participation in the Mass started and your participation in the Mass ended. You decided you were going to give an hour on Sunday to the Mass. But the Mass didn't end. Our participation in the Mass ended. The Mass goes on eternally. That's what's so extraordinary about it. We have such a gift in the Mass. But people get so used to the Mass. Our teenagers say, well, I'm tired of the Mass. It's always the same. Why don't they try something different? Or we can't change the Mass. We make some changes in the liturgy. But the Mass cannot change. It's unchangeable. It's like the Transfiguration of Jesus. Jesus, in a sense, is being transfigured in every Mass. When you come up and you hold the Eucharist in your hand, you're looking at something that will never pass, something that will never go away, something that will never be gone. You're looking into eternity. You're looking into eternity. And you put it in your mouth. You see, here in the tabernacle, you're looking into timelessness. You're looking into eternity. You're looking into something that will never pass. And that's why our religion is so important. That's why the spiritual journey is so important. Because deep down, we want to hold on to one thing. Deep down, we want to touch into what is permanent. We have a longing to do that. And that's spirituality. God is permanent. He will never pass away. Jesus is permanent. He will never pass away. And when you begin to touch into what doesn't pass away, it gives you a tremendous inner security. It gives you a tremendous inner confidence. Because you realize that the things that are essential will never pass away. And God created us for the essential. So that's the beauty of our faith. The beauty of our faith invites us to touch into eternity while we're still living. And as you learn to touch into eternity while you're still in time, you begin to use time differently.